Get back up again. In life, we all fall down at times. We first experience this as toddlers when we attempt to take our first steps in life. Our initial failed attempt to walk is met with smiles and nothing more than possibly a slightly bruised bum. We do not give up. We keep trying because at that early age we realize that falling down is a process on our way to standing up. Unfortunately, this perception of us falling down changes as we mature into adulthood. It's no longer our bums that are bruised when we fall down, but our egos. We see falling down as something to be embarrassed about, something to be scorned on. We hide our falls for fear of being seen as less than we are and beat ourselves up over the errors of judgment that led to them. Here is the reality of life. We all fall down at times. It doesn't matter who you are, we all have times when aspects of our life are in disarray. This is true of the great leaders in the world and the everyday person. It is nothing to be ashamed of. There is nothing wrong. It's a normal part of life. The only time when falling down in life will cause you a real problem is when you stay down and you make it even worse by getting down. When you get down, you look up at the world instead of looking in the world. Thus, you cannot see your place in the world. And even if you do, you may not feel you are worthy or confident enough to claim it. There may be times when you have a bad day. You may have eaten foods or snacks you know you should not have eaten, or not exercised when you plan to. Don't allow these times to get you down. It happens to the best of us. Just pick yourself up and say, tomorrow I will do better. You may fall down at times, however, do not stay down or get down. Get back up again, wipe yourself off, brush off any self-pity, and view the experience as character building.
Yes, good evening. It's not even good evening, it's good afternoon. Now, welcome to the Make Health Your Habit podcast live. Look, if you watched last week, you would have known we had a little bit of a delay. Again, tried everything I could think of to get rid of the delay. We've reduced it a little bit, but there's still a little bit of delay. But we will get there because, I mean, this software I'm using is absolutely brilliant and I don't want to stop using it. I just want to make sure and find out exactly what. So good afternoon to you on this Sunday. I hope you're having a great Sunday and your weekend has started wonderful for you. We've got a really great show for you today. A guy that I must admit, I admired. I've seen him around. I've heard about him. He's infamous in the fitness industry. And if you're into fitness, you're going to love the show. You are going to love what this man has to say. And it doesn't matter how long you've been exercising. This man, I believe, will have some form of education to give you. So listen, guys, hold on to your hats. We have a great show lined up for you today. Absolutely. Yes. The Make Health Your Habit podcast live show. Move from the Monday to the Sunday. Now, I know some of you might be, soaking your rice and peas. Well, that's not my bag. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Ken. I'm the L.E.A.N MindBody Coach. I have written a book called the L.E.A.N MindBody Method, which kind of documents my journey of losing 50 pounds, reversing my prediabetes and curing my sleep apnea, and so much more. For those of you who more than likely know, my main focus is low carb nutrition, and I specialize in reversing diabetes and pre-diabetes and losing weight. I mean, these two conditions, obesity and diabetes, are a scourge on the world. And, I am passionate about helping people to reverse these conditions, especially diabetes, because you can do it in 30 to 60 days. So that is a little bit of information about me. I hold these weekly podcasts good make healthy habit. I don't always focus on low carb, even though we had a great guest last week. Thank you so much, Kelly. You were absolutely awesome. I loved your passion. I loved your knowledge as well. I definitely know that we're going to have you back on the show very, very soon. So last week was a low carb session, and I'm sure I'll have more of them. But the Make Healthy Habit podcast live is all about health, making health. So if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, anywhere you watch, if you want to say hi, like Zilla has just said hi, good afternoon, Zilla. Nice to have you on the show. You're a regular. So if you want to say hi, just type in the box and say hi, Ken, or hi, Fitz. And, you know, it's nice to be nice. So we'd like to be able to hear from you. And as we go forward throughout the show, we would have had the sugar smash, but we'll have that next week when we get the text sorted out. But you will have an opportunity using the messaging box to ask Fitz some questions at the end of the show. So just bear that in mind, because he's going to have a wealth of information for you. Yeah, absolutely. And to any international guests that are watching, good morning to you. Good morning. Shirley, good morning. Or good afternoon, Shirley, because you're not international. So hi, Shirley. I know you're very much into fitness. We have our international guest on the line, Isaiah. Dr. Isaiah, good morning to you, sir. Nice to know you are with us. Isaiah has been a guest on the show. He is awesome. A wonderful low-carb cookbook. Check him out on Instagram. He is a regular. And then we have Donna saying, good afternoon, Donna. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I mean, just if we have a couple more people want to say hi, because it makes me feel loved. I know it makes Fitz feel loved as well. So thank you, Zilla. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Isaiah. And thank you, Donna, for just saying hi in the Make Healthy Habit podcast room. We are ready. Now, listen. I'm not even going to tell you how old the gentleman is. If he wants to tell you, he'll tell you. That's entirely up to him. But all I know, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to exercise, this man is the man to go to. He knows exactly what he's talking about. His work and even his body is a testament to that fact. So, you know, I am, without further ado, going to introduce to you Fitz Gaynes. Good afternoon to you, Fitz.
Okay, good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon, Ken. Thanks for having me on your podcast. It's an absolute delight. If I can just get one thing across here quickly. The name is Fitz Gaynes. I know that we use Fitz a lot because it's just, I think my mum knew what I was going to be, into fitness. But it's Fitzroy. Anyway,
yeah, great.
How are you, Ken?
I'm good. Listen, I'll tell you what, we've got some people saying hello. We've got Lloyd saying hello. We've got Anel saying hello. Thank you very much, guys. But I want to hear how did you get into, tell me the beginning of your journey, please, Fitz, so we can understand a little bit about you.
Right, my journey started, I've always been into some kind of fitness because I've been into sport. Funny thing was that when I was in primary school, I was terrible at sport, terrible. Life changed when I went to senior school, what we call secondary school, back in, and this is going to be telling my age now. Back in the 60s, I went to primary school. No, I went to senior school. Tell a lie, I was in senior school in the 60s, and I got into sport then. I left school still doing sport, but when I left school, I got into banking. And how I got into the fitness industry, for want of a word, we call it this fitness industry, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on, because I'm kind of a little bit off with the fitness industry, but you'll understand where I'm coming from in a little while. I started to go to a gym, a private gym, because back in them days, they never had these big corporate gyms. They just had private gyms. And I started at a gym, and I remember working out in the gym, and there was a girl teaching a class, and I went, I swear I could teach a class better than this woman. It was terrible. I thought it was terrible. Anyway, I went to the gym owner. His name was Jim. That's how I remember him. And I said, look, you know, if there's any classes going, I'm sure I could teach a class better. She went off sick for a few weeks. He phoned me at work and said in my lunch break, he said, could you come in and cover a class for me? I went in, covered the class, covered it for 2 weeks. Next thing, they gave me a class. And from then, I've not really looked back. I had to do the qualifications, but back in those days, people just used to teach with no qualifications. Unlike now, you have to have the paperwork to go with what you're doing. Hello?
Yeah, well, no, I'm here, Fitz. Don't worry, man. I'm just giving you a chance. Listen, you got some fans on in the messages. You got a lot of people saying hello to you. You bought your fan club
Thank
today,
you.
man. That's what I like to hear. Fitz, so tell me, look,
Yeah.
that is the kind of business. So what, every trainer has a style. So give us an idea of the style you had in the beginning and how
Okay.
that methodology is now matured to where you are now.
Well, where I am now is so far away from what I was at the beginning. Because as we know, knowledge is power. And as you understand, the more that you mature in what it is that you love, and if you love it, you'll find knowledge from it. And the fact of the matter is, back in the 70s, I was a nightclub dancer. I used to go to, you name a nightclub, Fitz was in it. I was at what they call the soul boys. I was a soul boy, and I used to rave like crazy. And when I got into fitness, I didn't do any of the real dancey stuff. I started off doing circuit type work. And then I got into the aerobic world where we did like aerobic exercise to music. And when I look back at that now, I said, if anyone came to me now and showed me what I did back then, they would never get a job. It was vile. It was just ragging people and damaging people, because that's basically all you did. Your fitness is what you kind of displayed on everybody else, and you kind of tried to make them work as hard as you did. And then it kind of developed into an understanding of what it is that we need to get fit and what is the purpose of our fitness. Because where I am right now, it's all a matter of I need to know what is my purpose for fitness, and the things that I did back then, were they fitness or were they fun? Because I teach step classes at an international level. I teach dance aerobic classes at an international level. But for me, those things are the fun things. And I know that where I started back in the days where we did presenting, that literally most of the guys and girls who were doing presenting back then, when I was there with them, and we're all about the same age, that none of them are still around at the moment teaching. And that's due to the fact that, yeah, we've all gone up in age, but all they did was dance and dance and dance and teach step. None of them gave themselves a foundation to work with. And I learned early in my career that the only way that I was going to survive is by having a foundation to work with. And your foundation, and it doesn't matter who the individual is or who the human being is, their foundation is their strength. Because without your strength, there is nothing that you can do physically. We need strength to do. We can't do without strength. It's that one thing that we have to have. And the thing about doing all the other exercises, and I call them exercises, was the fact that they took our strength. They never necessarily gave us strength. They might give you strength at the beginning of your journey, but in the long term, they're going to take strength from you, because they're just wear and tear. They're not a foundation builder. So for me, a foundation builder was my strength. So where I am now, it's all about, I built myself a foundation for me to be able to do in my later life. So it's like I call it a physical pension. So I put my investment in and keep investing, because in later life, I'm up for retirement in 2 years' time now.
Are you gonna let them know how old you are? I mean, it's your call.
Well, right now, of course, I'm not too worried. Look, I'm 63. I've got 2 months left, and I'll
give you a round of applause for that, my brother. Give you a round of applause for that, man.
I'm going to be hitting 64. Can I still sprint? I can still sprint fairly well. Can I still jump? Yes, I can still jump. Could I do close to 100 press-ups? I most probably can in one hit. And it's not, I mean, it sounds like, it's showing off. No, it's not. It's what it is, guys. It's a matter of just saying to you that age is but a number. I put a thing on my Facebook yesterday of a woman. She had a stroke at 93 years old. She's 101 now and she's in the gym. Stroke gone. Why?
That's crazy.
Because she worked on the foundation. It's all about the strength.
Yeah. So Fitz,
Believe me.
Tell me.
Yeah, go on.
I love what you're saying, and I love that the woman obviously who 101, and you can imagine she must have been working out for a long time or she made it a lifestyle. So you have such a wealth of information. As we move forward, in just, I would say, in a synopsis, what is your methodology? What is your thinking around exercise and fitness?
Okay, when we talk about exercise, we talk about movement. And we use this word very trivially about exercise. Exercise is just movement. It means, for me, exercise doesn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, every single human being, once you get out of your bed, it's an exercise. When you stand up out of your bed, that's an exercise. When you walk to the door, to open the door, it's an exercise. It's movement. Movement is not the key. And if we can get that forward to most of us, people tend to think that movement, physical movement, is the key to our physical success. It's not. It's the intensity that we work at through that movement that is the key to our success. So it's about intensity, and intensity means strength. Muscle is strength. Muscle is medicine. If we look at the pandemic that we're in at this very moment in time, people will say, yeah, but I know people that are pretty fit who have died from what's happened at the moment, what's happening at this moment in time. And I'm going to say to you, they are what we call cardio endurance fit, not cardio strength fit. I've yet to see a person who is fit and strong, the word strong, okay, that is really suffering. Our strength is our wealth in the aspect of fitness and what we call fitness. And I don't call it fitness anymore. And this is the word I'm really trying to get away from it. I call it, it's a therapy. It's physical therapy. That's what I work on.
Fitz, I mean, yeah. We've had someone called Darrell, and I think Dowry, and I hope I pronounced her name right, Smith. She said she learned a lot from you, so you've definitely made an impact on some people. And please, ladies and gentlemen watching, don't feel shy. Just post some messages, and we'll get to the question. In summary, for people who may not, who may be new to the gym, give us a synopsis of what cardio is and what strength training is. The difference, please.
Okay, I'm going to say to you there is no difference. When we keep trying to separate them completely. And there's one thing about it. You can do cardio, but you need an element of strength endurance type. And that's strength endurance type. And then, but the one thing about strength training is you cannot do strength training without using the cardio system. For it to become real strength training, you will have used the cardio system within what it is that you need it for in life. Now,
interesting.
If I ask most of the people on this feed right now, how many of you do any form of endurance running as a lifestyle? And I'm not talking about getting up and going out running. I'm talking about as your day-to-day routine, something that you do on a day-to-day basis, and you go out and you have to run to work. Oh, I have to run here. I'll guarantee you nobody on this feed does that.
Let me pose that question. So if anybody watching this, Fitz has said, does anyone do endurance fitness as a daily activity? Is that correct, Fitz?
Well, it's not. When I say endurance activity, is it part of their general lifestyle, not their personal lifestyle, general lifestyle?
Okay, you hear that. So if anyone's got a reply to that, please, either Facebook, YouTube, just message in the box so we can get some feedback. So go ahead, Fitz.
Because at the end of the day, that's something that we don't do. The one thing, and we have to do it at every single day of our life, right up to the day that we die, it becomes strength. To get out of your bed, that took strength. To stand up, that took strength. To open the door, that took strength. It might be relative strength, but it took strength. And I'm going to say this to you. If you struggle to do something, you're guaranteed, if you picked a box up or picked up anything and it was really heavy and you got it up and then you put it back down again, I guarantee you'll be out of breath. You're using your cardio system. But you're using your cardio system in a logical manner, not in an illogical manner. If someone said to me, Fitz, could you run 10K tomorrow? I most probably could go out and run 10K. How long it took me to run that 10K is a completely different format. How long it took me to cover it. If that is my job and that is something I really desperately need to do, and I want to do 10K under 40 minutes, I've got to go out and train to run it under 40 minutes. Will that improve my general lifestyle? I don't think so, because my general lifestyle doesn't need that 10K.
Okay.
You need to be training for purpose, because you're wasting lots of energy on things that have no purpose in your lifestyle. And we do things like, these people go out. I mean, at this moment in time, I live near a park, and the amount of people I see running around the road, and some of them are struggling to get around. It makes no sense due to the fact they haven't got the strength to do. They'd be better off holding some weights in their hands, sitting down and standing up in a chair, to the point where within about 30 to 45 seconds, that load got them out of breath. Hello, isn't that logical cardio?
It sounds like it to me. So here's a question, Fitz, for people, because I mean, I've been training. I'm coming up to 58 years old this year. I've been training since I was 17. And, you know, I love exercise, and exercise is part of my methodology in my coaching. Even though I must say, and I don't want to counter any of your narrative here, I've had people lose weight on my program without exercise, but that is not the question. There are many people I see in the gym all the time, and often you see them all the time, and they don't look like they're having much progress, and sometimes they don't even look much fitter. What would you say? There may be others. Is the number one error that people make when it comes to their fitness or fitness lifestyle routine?
Right. I spoke a little bit about this last week, and you kind of touched on it a little bit right at the moment. Now, if it's weight that you're trying to lose, and I'm going to say this to you now, if it's just weight that you're trying to lose, it's an easy job, really easy to do. Literally starve yourself, you'll lose weight. That don't make no sense to me. I'm going to say to you that don't make no sense to me, because the thing about losing weight, and this is how our bodies work, and it's our logical pathway. When you go on diets, and DIET, delayed internal extreme termination, DIET, remember this word, DIET, delayed internal extreme termination, you are killing yourself. That's how I see it, okay? And the thing about, and you know, when you get people get on these, what we call yo-yo diets, where they go on a diet, they start eating again, they put on more weight than what they had on before. And the main reason for that is that when you go on a diet, what you're doing is you're slowing down your metabolic system. Your metabolic system, and this is if you're doing it with no training, and I'm not going to call it exercising, training. I need training, not exercising. We need to train. We need to build muscle. We need to speed up our metabolic system. When you're trying to lose weight at one end, you need to speed up the metabolic system at the other end. So you're not diversing away from killing one to make the other, in the sense of, I'm not going to go on a diet, slow down my metabolic system, and then when the next time I start eating again, oh my God, I put more weight on. No, I need to get this balance. I always say you shouldn't be doing one without the other. So if you are going on a diet, my expectations of that person is, please do some strength training. Strength. So lift weights. Get your metabolic system up.
Is that because I mean I really kind of agree with you. If you're saying, is strength training the missing component that a lot of people who spend hours in the gym, is that a missing component for many people?
It is the number one missing component. Number one. All this nonsense about getting onto a treadmill and walking for 20 minutes and jogging for 20 minutes and whatever. I mean, you look, at the beginning of your journey, and I'll say this, at the beginning of your journey, it's a great way to start, okay? And it is a start, okay? I call it low intensity training, LIT. You're lit, you're just lighting yourself up. You lit yourself up, you've got it started. But that lit, LIT, will soon become low intensity exercise, LIE. It will soon become the lie. LIE, low intensity exercise. It will soon become a lie because it will stop working because your metabolic system hasn't been speeded up in any way. And I'm going to say this to you, and I want all of us to listen here. We burn most of our fat. We use most of our fat energy as a calorie user when our body is at rest, not when our body is active. The faster you move, the more you use carbs and protein as energy. The slower you move, the more you start to use fat as energy. But you burn most of your fat when your body is at a still, when it's sedentary, when it's just sitting there doing nothing. But you know what? If you've got a metabolic system that is high in the sense of I've built muscle, when you're sitting there, what greater thing? It's like an investment. You're sitting there and you're making money just sitting there. Hold it. I'm burning calories while I'm just sitting there because that's what it is. You're making it an investment, and your investment is to build muscle because that's your currency for having the use of your energy overload, EOL.
So you're talking about your basal. Is it the rest of you talk about your basal metabolic rate?
The basal metabolic rate is muscle. Okay. The development of muscle. So your body will use more fat as energy when your body is at rest.
So here's the question. Here's the question, because I know we got some women watching this. Mm-hmm. Listen, I don't want to build muscle. I've heard all these stories. If I go in the gym and I lift weights, then I'm going to build muscle. And I don't want to lose my feminine kind of curves. I don't want to be all muscly like a man. What would you say to those women watching?
Fantastic. Lovely chat. And I hear it. You're not the only one to hear it. I hear it all the time. Okay. What you got to understand, I spoke about this last week as well. A topic I spoke about last week. Let's just take, you get a male and a female, and they both start off a weight training session together, both together. All of a sudden, the woman goes, boy, you know what? I feel like I'm getting bulky. The guy goes, looks like I'm getting bulky. I love this. I'm going to carry on. The woman goes, I'm getting bulky. Now I'm going to stop. And the main reason why is because when you start any, and I call it bruising, internal bruising, because the building muscle is what you do. You're damaging the capillaries in your muscle fibers. And while they repair, they swell up. But just like anything that's being bruised, okay, what happens is your body collects water. It collects water. Doesn't get rid of it. It collects it as a protector. As a protector. Now, the guys carry on. And then after a few weeks, few months, call it, they go, well, I'm not getting that bulk anymore. I'm starting to slim down. What's going on? And this is when you see these guys walking around the gym with protein shakes, all kinds of shakes, to try and get the size back on. It's because the water evaporates and our bodies will become more toned. So the size won't matter. You can't get bulky. I'm not going to say to a woman, you're not going to get bulky, because a woman's going to look at, but I've dieted already and I've got bulky. You're not getting bulky. All you've got is water getting into the muscle. And if you see that happening, then you know what you're doing. It's working. Because in a few weeks' time, a few months' time, you will start to slim down. Women, you cannot get big and muscular like what you see some of those women in magazines where you see them really hench. Those hench women didn't get hench by just lifting weights. They had more than that in their body to get them hench like that. Guys, it's like right now, if you said to me, Fitz, and I'm not a big guy, I weigh around about 81, 82 kilos, okay? I can pick up my body weight and if not more. If you said to me, could I hold 100 kg and stand up? Of course I could do that. I can bench press 100 kg, fine. But say this now, I'm not big. I'm not a big guy. Size it's not the size a lot of the times that you've got to worry about, ladies. If I'm going to say to any lady out there, if you weighed 100 kilos but really look well, would you worry about it? No. Are you going to get big and muscular? No, you don't carry enough testosterone in your body for that to happen. Guys, ladies, when you see a woman gets really hunched, believe me, they haven't been training 2 times a week. They haven't been doing weight training 3 times a week. They're doing weight training maybe 6 times a week and twice a day on some days.
And a lot, and they're doing a lot more to that as well. You know, Fitz, love what you're saying. Look, we want to add some real value today. All right, that's what I want to add some real value. So I'm going to lean on you now. So let's deal with. Because you're speaking about the women, let's deal with the women first. All right. So a woman wants to go in the gym. She's listening to you now. She says, you know what, all this running, I feel confident now that I can do some strength training and, start to tone up my curves. All right. Give us 3 exercises that you would recommend a woman to do. Obviously not taking too long. The sets and how many sets of each they should do. Just 3 exercises. Maybe even 3 complementary exercises. And how many sets of each they should do. Okay? Let's add some value.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Guys, there are only 4 movements we make in life. 4 movements. Those 4 movements are sit, stand, push, and pull. Remember that. Sit, stand, push, and pull. Those are the only 4 movements we make. You might say that you turn your head. No, you don't. You push your head to the side. You might say you nod. No, you push your head down and you pull it back. Sit, stand, push, and pull. That's it. Now, if you're talking about building a unique body, for want of a word, and we've got to think about the parts of the body, not the exercise, people. Let's just first think about the parts of the body. Your legs, your chest, your back. They are compound exercises. And when we say compound, we mean that you cannot get those muscles to work unless you use a smaller muscle to assist. So if I want to work my chest, I have to use my arms. If I want to work my back, I've got to use my arms to pull back. If I want to work my legs, I've got to use a smaller area, which is the lower end of my limbs, the calf, gastrocnemius, tibialis anterior, the smaller muscles of the lower limbs, to get the big muscles at the upper end to work. Now, you can't beat a squat. And I know there's going to be lots of you going out there, oh, I've got bad knees, I damaged my knees. Guys, every single year that you don't do any squatting, you're going to walk around and go, I damaged my knees. I'm going to tell you two places not to go to when the gym's open, if you ever get back to it. Leg extension, you don't need it. It's not the same exercise. That's meaning sitting down and extending your leg forward and bring it back. Doing a leg curl, do you need it? No, you don't need it. Absolutely don't. What you definitely do need is a squat. And if it's just to start off, you can start off with just sitting down in the chair and standing up, sitting down in the chair and standing up. Now, for those of you and I know this is the big thing at the moment, the glutes, booty. We all want
Fitz,
good booty.
Fitz, just let me introduce you. Squat's great. How many sets and how many sets of each? 3 times 10 sets or 3 12 or 3 8?
No, not at all. There's no look. This thing about having reps and sets. Okay, you're going to do reps and sets. They're all completely different. Okay, if you're going to do really heavy, you're only going to be able to do 4 sets. If you're going to do medium weight, what they call hypertrophy, you're going to do 8 to 12 reps. If you want to take it into more of an endurance factor, you can start doing 16 to 20 reps. Now, how light the weight is down to you as an individual. How heavy the weight is down to you as an individual. What I will say is that for the kind of lifestyle training, LST, lifestyle training that you need, okay, you've got to think about it. Think of number 10 is your max. That's your max. You know that when you pick that up, you could only pick it up maybe 1 or 2 times. Hold it. I want to make it in 7 or an 8. And especially if you just starting out, start with a 6. But let's take it to a 7 and 8. That's the area I want to work to. The load, because it's about the intensity.
And how many sets?
I would say, well, when you start, just do 2 sets. maybe just one set, because you're starting. Don't think that there's no gospel. This thing about, oh, I've got to do 3, I've got to do 4 sets, I've got to do. Sometimes I'll go in and do a leg session and I'll do 12 sets of squats. 12 sets. That's me. But what I'm saying to most of you, go out there, maybe start off, just do 2 sets, get yourself comfortable. Make sure you get range of movement. And guys, don't think that it's all about just doing an exercise. It's getting the full range of movement, because the bigger the movement, the more muscle fibers you recruit. The more muscle fibers you recruit, the more calories you will burn. It's about recruiting as many muscle fibers as you can with intensity through that movement. Don't just think, oh, I'm going to do half a squat, I'm going to get it. No, because that's only half the work. You need range of movement. It's like doing, if I was going to extend my arm, I fully extend my arm and I fully bring it back. Range of movement. That way I know that I've recruited as many muscle fibers as possible. Okay. Muscle fibers are recruited as through that movement.
Great. So fantastic explanation. Squat. So that's the first exercise. The next exercise.
Right. Next exercise, a chest press. And people go, oh, but that's a man's exercise. It's not. It's a push. It's just an exercise. It's a chest press. And the next one is a bent over row. And please, all these people who do bent over rows where they just bend over, it's going to be damaging to your back. When I say bend over, I talk about bend your knees and let your upper body go over it. That's the bend over. That way you have support on your lower back. Resistance is only a resistance when you work against gravity. So when you bend over and you bend your knees and you bring your body over those knees, your back will be up against gravity. When you pull your arms back, you are working the whole range of your back. That's your scapula, your rhomboids, the whole works. Your rectus femoris, not rectus femoris, rectus spinae. Rectus femoris is in your hamstrings, okay? So think about that. When you're doing a chest press, you've got to lie on your back. So you push up against gravity. Now, for all of you out there, and this is my lifestyle type training, and this is what I use as my lifestyle training. So I stay injury-free 24/7. I only use dumbbells. I don't use anything else. I try my best not to use other equipment. And main reason for that is a long Olympic bar, or the long bar, for want of a word, it makes your joints fixed. It puts your joints in fixed positions. So you're holding your hands in one position and you're having to move. That movement is where your hands are totally fixed. There is nothing in life where we use a fixed position. If you were going to put something in the cupboard, you wouldn't have your hands in a fixed position. And this is why so many people have joint injuries in the gym, because we do a lot of our exercises through either using a machine or using a long bar. And when I say machines, I'm meaning like it's like me saying to you, I'm going to throw a dart. And if I throw the dart and I hit a point, and I say to you, right, I'm going to give you 100 shots. I want you to hit that target. I'm going to give you 100 shots times to hit that, to try and hit that same target. You will never do it. I'll guarantee you won't hit that target again. And it will never be the same journey. And that's the reason for you haven't got what they call your proprioception movement. Unlike with a machine, when you go on a machine, it just locks you in. Exactly the same target all the way. That's not lifestyle. And what that will do in the long run, you will have joint problems. Using a dumbbell is lifestyle driven. If you put a dumbbell in your hand and you push it forward and you put it back, push it forward and bring it back, it will never be the same journey from the beginning to the end. You know the beginning, you know the end, but the journey will always be slightly different in its movement. And that way, you're going to save yourself from injuries. Try never to use dumbbells the way that you would use a barbell. So if you have your hands like this and keep pushing out, no. You've got 2 bones here and 1 bone in the upper arm. Therefore, that's what you do. When you go into a squat, it's the same thing. How many of us would put a bar on the back of our head or put anything on the back of our neck to squat down and stand up? We wouldn't do it in life, but we do it in the gym. Does that make sense? No. But if I put my hands down to my side, I pick up a dumbbell, I stand up with it, and I sit down with it, that's a logical pathway. I stay injury-free 24/7. Believe me, people, at nearly 64, I want to stay that way, because the worst thing about life is that as we get older, when we get an injury, it takes so much longer to repair. We want to save ourselves. It's about staying strong, staying young for as long as we can.
Great advice there,
Ken?
Fitz. Listen, that's some great advice.
Hello?
I'm here. I can hear you, Fitz. Don't worry, I'm good. I can hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Fitz? I can hear you, definitely. I don't know why you can't hear, but don't worry, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Fitz? Hopefully you can still hear me. I don't know. I can hear you. Hold on. Let me see what's happened here.
Hello?
Yeah, 1 minute, Fitz. Hold on. See what's happened. Hold on. 2 seconds.
Hello?
Let's see what's happened. I can hear you, Fitz, though, by the way.
Hello?
Yeah, 1 minute, Fitz. Hold on. 2 seconds. Let's just get this sound back, because I can hear you clearly, and I think everyone else can hear you clearly. But let's just see what's happened. Yeah, I know everyone can hear you, Fitz. I'm not sure what happened there with Fitz, but I know I hear people telling me on YouTube that you can hear. Let's see what happens. Let's take it again. So listen, there was some great information there from Fitz. Can you hear me, Fitz? Just one moment. Can you hear me? Let's see what's happened here. Hold on. 1 minute, Fitz. Let's see if I can get you back and see what's happening, because people can definitely hear you. Yeah, let's see what's happened here. There was some great information there, ladies and gentlemen, coming from Fitz. So I'm not too sure what happened with the sound, but let's see if we can get him back. Just bear with us just 1 minute and we'll see what happens. Hold on. Let's see if we can get him back. Can you hear me, Fitz? It looks like he has gone. So let's see if we can get him back in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. This Fitz coming back here. Yeah. Yeah, let's see if we can get you back, Fitz. Hold on. Let's see if we can get you back with us. I'm not sure. You got your camera on there, Fitz? You turn your camera on? Fitz?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, just turn your camera on and then we can...
Where we go?
We can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we just can't see you.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, we can definitely hear you. Oh, then hold on. Let's see how this looks now. Hold on 1 minute. Let's see if we can bring you back. Yeah, it looks like they're going. Come back in the frame then, Fitz. Come on. Come back in the frame. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. I think everyone can hear you now. So it looks like you're all good to go. All right. Okay. Don't know about that. So you're all good to go. All right. So Fitz, listen. Just tell me on YouTube if you can hear us both now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ah, great stuff. So Fitz, look, that was some great information there, and I think the demons were saying you were giving us some great information, and they were trying to pull that away from you. Look, you've spoke about the gym. There are so many people at home at the moment. So many people who are not able to exercise in the way they want to exercise. Can you give us a couple of exercises? Focuses on the same lifestyle training, maybe some body weight exercises that people can do at home at this present moment, Fitz, please.
Right. I'm going to say this to all of you out there, and I'm quite certain there is not, well, especially anyone who does any form of so-called fitness, what I call physical therapy. Everybody must have bags at home. You must have a bag at home. Must have bags at home. You must have a rucksack at home. If anything, you've got to have a rucksack at home. Most people have got a rucksack of some kind. Now, great thing to do is just put your rucksack on your back with whatever you like in it, as long as it's got a load, because the name of the game is intensity, not the exercise. You know, because you self squat, 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 you find it hard to squat maybe at the beginning if you've not really done it often. But to make it stronger, you have to load up to tone up. Fact of the matter. So if you're at home and you're saying to me you haven't got equipment, you have, because there's lots of things in the house that need picking up and need putting down. Lots. So I'd get a rucksack, put what you can. If you've got some tins, things in the cupboard, I'm guaranteed that some of us, if we go looking in our cupboards, all those bad processed foods, they can be used for something. Put in your bag and use them as a load to work with. Just put anything you can. Shoes, well, there's loads of women got loads of shoes out there. I'm stereotyping here, sorry about that. But just load up. Sit down, stand up, push and pull. The name of the game, just think of those 4 movements. Sit, stand, push and pull. Load through those movements. Do them to the point where you go into what we call oxygen debt. Going into oxygen debt means you're out of breath. Yes, you're using the cardio system through your strength training. That's what you need. If you're doing an exercise, and I call it exercise, and you're not out of breath really, you haven't really been working. But if you do within 30 seconds, you start to need to take on some oxygen, you go into oxygen debt, then your body is in the training zone. It's a really simple way to do it. Get up here into your mind, understand that I want to be within 45 seconds, I want to be slightly out of breath or really out of breath. Work with that. Sit, stand, push and pull. There is no exercise that's going to fix any one part of your body. And before you come onto it, because I know it's one of these questions, is what exercise can I do for my abs? I'm going to say this to all of you now. Train. Done. Period. There is no exercise that's going to make your abs any slimmer. Abs are created through the whole movement that you do. It's like saying, because you haven't seen somebody for a long time, not for ages, and you go, oh my God, you look like you've lost some weight. Most of us will say, I've seen it in their face. Who trains their face? Nobody trains their face. So why would it be that I find an exercise by training my abs and my abs will look slimmer? It doesn't happen. It's got to be an all over thing that I push my body to get out of it what I put in. Cause and effect. Work hard, get the effect. It's that simple.
So Fitz, I really want to try and look for a couple of specific exercises. I mean, I love doing press ups at home. When I'm at home, I do body weights, I do press ups.
Yeah.
I do tricep dips. And while you're having that conversation, let me pull it out to the people watching on YouTube, Facebook, and anywhere. Listen, if you have a question for Fitz, this is your time. Use the message box on Facebook and YouTube. Just post a question and let's see if we can get the master educator answering that question for you. So take time, post a question in either Facebook and YouTube, or even if you watch it on Twitter, and we'll see if we get that question answered. So I say, I love press ups. I love that body exercise. I love doing the triceps, and I even love doing body exercises with the squat. I mean, give us a couple of exercises. And what was great is those 3 exercises you spoke about that can be done in the gym. I think it's comparable for men and women. Give us a couple of exercises, 2 or 3 exercises that people can do to strengthen their body in this lockdown period.
Right.
At home.
Right. At home, go back to it again. I can't make it any more simpler, because it looks like we're trying to find a holy grail of fitness. And the holy grail of fitness is, I've got to find this one exercise. If I do this exercise, that's going to be it. There is no holy grail to fitness. There is no holy grail exercise. Press ups are fantastic, but you've got to be able to do them. Hold it, I need to have the strength to do them. So I've got to practice and push myself through them. If I can't get down on my knees to press up, I'm going to hold on to it, put my hands on the wall and push back, and come forward and push back, push my chest towards it and then pull back. But then hold it, I want to work my back. What do I do to work my back? Because I've got to pull. What exercise can you do to pull? Bend over in a nice, easy position, bend your knees, get your body to come over, whatever it is that you can find that you can pull, whether it's tins, whatever it is, dumbbells if you've got them at home, or weight plate, and pull them back. That's what you need to work on your back. That's a puller. Crunches, don't do them. You don't need them. Because you've got to understand that your abs are the things that keep you upright. So if my abs keep me upright, doesn't it make sense that the more I put in my hand, the more my abs have to work to keep me standing upright?
Can I throw in a quick about plank then? What about plank then?
Plank's a great exercise, absolutely, because what it does the job that it's supposed to do. Stabilize. That's what our abs do. Our abs stabilize us and keep us upright. When you're doing a plank, that's what it does. There's loads of variations of planks that you can do. Now, there's one thing that I'm going to say here, and I know that some people might get upset with me about it, and because it's kind of a little bit controversial.
We forgive you in advance, don't worry.
Please. I don't understand this thing where people exercise sitting down. If you've got no legs, then fine. If you've got weak legs and you're struggling, I hear that. But if you think about anything physical that we do in life, and we call it lifestyle, most things that we do physical is always in a standing position. You will burn more calories when you work out in a standing position. That's a scientific fact. It's a logic. Okay? Doing a bicep curl sitting on a ball makes no sense to me. Sitting on any kind of ball, exercising, unless you're doing it for rehab, makes no sense to me, bar having a bit of fun. And that's neither here nor there. If you want to have fun, great, because we all need our endorphins to be trained as well, give us that feel-good factor. But from a calorie burning point of view, you will burn most of your calories when you're standing up working, or standing up exercising, or standing up doing whatever it is. If you're going to put something in the cupboard, you wouldn't sit down in a chair and open the cupboard with your arms because you can reach it and put it in. You'd stand up and do it. If you're going to put your washing in a washing machine, which is lower down, you'd still be standing up. You wouldn't lie down on the floor to put your washing in. You just wouldn't do it. You'd stand up. The basis of all forms of training should be done in a standing position. This sitting down thing kind of gripes me a little bit. If it's fun and you're having an element of fun and it's there, great. But training, and if you're serious about your training and you want to seriously burn calories, I'm begging you, train standing up. Really easy.
Great. Listen, because we got a little bit, we might go a little bit over an hour because I think this is valuable information. We've got a couple of questions coming in before they come off the screen. Maxine says regarding, and Lloyd actually said as well, he wants to talk about food. Regarding weight loss, we talk a lot about training for weight loss, but a large percentage is the food we eat. Maybe too many carbs, eat too much, too late. What do you think, Fitz?
Right. Every individual is kind of slightly different. And when I say slightly different, I have a metabolic system that's right up there. And I can eat food at 11 o'clock in the night. Make no odds to me, because I've got the room to burn it. But if you're a person who's seriously about, you know what, I've got to get my weight down. Eating late is not going to be good for you, because you're going to have a massive amount of time spent in a starving position. So you'll be able to use most of those fat stores to be eaten away. But you've got to have done the training to quantify for eating into that excess fat, EOL, energy overload. Now, some people will say, so what would you eat for breakfast? And I will say, food. And they're like, what food? And I go, food. Because at the end of the day, breakfast is just breaking your fast. There is no food that we should or should not be eating to a point, bar the fact that we shouldn't be eating processed food. When we wake up in the morning, the food that we need to sustain us throughout the day should be a part of complex carbs. Complex carbs meaning starchy type foods. So it gives you the energy to be able to go through the day. Okay. Now, when you get closer to the evening, try and stay away from the simple carbs, because what they do, what tends to happen is if you have carbs in the morning, if you don't have enough carbs in the morning, by the evening, you feel really lethargic and you say, oh, I need something. And the first thing we tend to do is go for sweet stuff. Sweet stuff are what they call simple carbs. Simple carbs, they rush into your system, make you feel highly hypey, and then they knock you out. They're not good for you. Sugars are not good for you. And this thing about fruit, and I had this discussion with somebody yesterday, and they said, oh, I really eat a lot of fruit. And I said to him, you don't need lots of fruit. I know fruit's good for you, but it's so full of sugars, it's a joke. You need fruit, yes, but not masses of fruit. You need to eat, yes, but what you're eating and how you can watch your eating. And this is another simple way. We think about it. We are the only animal on this planet that gets fat. The only animal on the planet that gets fat. Forgetting about dogs and cats, because we're involved with them dogs and cats. That's why they get fat. But if you look at any animal on this planet, they don't get overweight. We're the only ones that get overweight. And the reason for that is that our intelligence makes us override our natural instincts. Our natural instincts shouldn't be overridden. When you're thirsty, what do? You drink. When you're hungry, what do? You eat. So when you're full, what you're supposed to do? Stop. But you know what we do? We override it due to the fact that we think because we paid for it, we need to eat it. Because there's lots of starving people out there in the world, we can't let that food go to waste. Think about the word waste. Guys, when your body says it's full, that waste is telling you this. You either put it in the waste bin or you're going to have to carry it around as waste, because your body will take it in. Even though you're full, your body will take it in, but your body won't use it because your instincts of your body's already told you that you'd had enough for what it is that you're going to use. But no, you still take it in. And the only thing that your body can do, it can't keep it as food. It will have to convert it into a store. And the only store, which is a waste store, is called fat. So you're going to be carrying around this waste when you could have just put it in the waste bin. And you know what? The next time you serve yourself up some food, you serve up a smaller portion. We need to stop telling our kids, you are not going to leave the table until you finish your meal. Because most kids, they eat on their instincts. They know what they've had. They know when they've had enough. Leave them be. Because we're pushing people into eating things that they don't want.
Fitz, I'm just gonna come in here. Great information. It's only because we haven't got long left. We've got a couple more questions. Please just fire some questions around. I just need to come in here a little bit. I mean, you're the guest in the show, and there is never one way to do something. I have my methodology, which works incredibly well. You have your methodology when it comes to carbs that works incredibly well. So I would never say there's one methodology to something. So I don't want to get into that, but I totally respect the way you think, and yeah, you're definitely acknowledging the sugar side, which I totally agree with. But it's not about my methodology today; it's about your methodology, Fitz. So let's go to the question from Catlin. Catlin has said, Fitz, how can we turn a spinning bike into a high intensity strength training? That's the question. Is that possible?
Yes, it is. It is. Right. On any spin bike, you've got the resistance, like a dial or a roll or whatever, okay? And, if we said that we want to look like a sprinter, and the sprinter's toned, and we want to turn it into a strength training system, what I would say is you turn the resistance up to a point wherein you will sprint for as fast as you can. Let those legs go as quickly as you can. It shouldn't last for no longer than 15 seconds. Within that 15 seconds, by the time you've done that 15 seconds, you should be gasping. You give yourself, and you can start off with, give yourself a minute recovery, and then do it again. Do that maybe 8 times. I'll guarantee that you will burn more calories doing that, and that's 8 times, that's 2 minutes of cycling, basically. You'll burn more calories within those 2 minutes, and in the long term, than if you did a 45-minute workout. And main reason for that is it's like weight training. It's like strength training. You'd keep lifting the weights up and down for maybe 15, 20 seconds. You put it down. You'd wait a minute, and then you go back and do it again. It's the same principle, but you're doing it in a cardio format, in a strength cardio format. So it's about the intensity, as I said at the beginning. You turn the intensity up, you drive your body hard, 15 seconds. Once you've done that 15 seconds, give yourself a minute. And then what you do is you try and shorten that. So maybe after a few weeks, you think, right, you know what, I'm going to try and make that 15 seconds on and 45 seconds off, and maybe add another set to it. I'll always say to people, don't add more reps, add more sets. Because when you add more sets, what happens is you're giving yourself the recovery to push harder again. So it's about not too many sets, but add more sets. So if you started off with just doing 2 sets of, let's say, of 15 seconds, don't go, right, I'm going to do 30 seconds now. You don't need to, because the longer you cycle for at that speed, the slower you become. So 15 second cycle will never be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh yeah, no,
Sorry,
you're back with us, Fitz. No worry, you're back, Fitz.
Yeah.
You listen. I have a couple of questions. Okay, I'm not too sure. So just you're back there. I have a couple of questions, some quick fire questions. So let's have some quick fire questions, quick fire answers. If anyone can come in. The question is, firstly, is there something that I should be doing before exercise and post exercise? And secondly, is there a minimum time I should be exercising for, or and can I exercise for too long? So those are the 2 questions I'd like to pose to you.
Right, I'm going to get to the latter one. The latter one, the last one, you can be training for too long, and that's where you get to the point where I call it detraining, where you just put in time just to convert. Sometimes it happens with personal trainers where they'll do a personal training for an hour. Within 45 minutes, within less than that, they've literally done everything, and all they're doing is just adding on things just to keep the punter happy. I would say it's not needed. I do personal training, and I will not train anybody for longer than 45 minutes at a time. Within that 45 minutes, we'd say no more than 30 minutes of it has been actual, real, in-depth training, because it's about the intensity, getting the intensity high, giving them recovery to work. So I will say to you, don't overtrain. Rest is so important. REST, revitalize, energize, sleep training. Got to get it in. REST, got to get that in. It's all part and parcel of who you are and what you are. That was the first. What was the first question?
The other question is, because that's the length. Is there something I should be doing pre-workout before I go to the gym, and something I should do after the gym?
Right. Before the gym, please don't. This thing about training on an empty stomach, don't do it. Eat. Give yourself some energy to work with. Energy requires energy for energy to work. You need to supply yourself with energy. When you're starting your workout, try and always mobilize. Do not stretch. There's no need to stretch before a workout. And when I say mobilize meaning stretching with the movement, i.e. if you did a squat and held it, you're stretching with the movement. If you did a touch your toes where you're hyperextending your knee and bending over, that's stretching against the joint. That's called a stretch. You don't need that. Scientific proof has proven that stretching before your workout, okay, tends to take some of the strength away and the energy away from you that you need to be putting into your workout. At the end of your workout, I wouldn't recommend going straight into a stretch. If you've done a real heavy strength workout, I would say go on a roller. If you're ever going to use the roller, people, when you use a roller, always roll out your back first. Don't roll out the areas like your legs and all those areas first. Don't. Roll out your backs first, because your back is your nervous system. It's where all the signals that root off to every part of your body. That's where it is. So by rolling out your back, you're clearing the system, you're opening up the system, and then you go to the area that you want to roll. That would be what I would do at the end.
Just for the benefit of people that don't know what a roller is, just to explain what a roller is.
Right, a foam roller is like a long tube, and it's made out of foam. Some of them are made out of rubber. You've got some heavy ones, you've got some thick ones, and you just roll your body backwards and forward. It's like prehistoric rollers are kind of like a rolling pin. Rolling pin, but in a big format without handle.
Fitz, just let me just put the camera on me in a minute, so I can just show them exactly what a roller looks like. This is what a roller looks like. Let me try and get it in the screen. Yeah. So this is what a roller looks like, and you can pick them up on Amazon. All right. So this is what a roller looks like, and you can pick them up very, very cheaply on Amazon.
It's not good for you. Stretching is good for you. It will give you an element of more flexibility, for want of a word. Is it a flexibility that you need in life? It's down to the individual how they feel about it. I'm not a great person that does a lot of stretching, but if you do stretching, please ensure that you warm the body up first and then you stretch. Just make stretching as part. Stretching doesn't have to be something that you do at the end of a workout. Stretching can be a part of a workout. So you can have a day where you just go out, you maybe go for a walk, maybe have some light runs, come back, and then you go, right, you know what, I'm going to do 30 minutes of stretching. Great, fantastic. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done at the end, because there's no proof, scientific proof that proves that by stretching at the end of a workout stops you from getting injuries.
Great.
No proof
Great,
at all.
Fitz. We're just going to fire away. Listen, you guys, we've got about 5 minutes or so left on the show. If anybody has any questions, please just fire them away. It's your opportunity to talk to a man you may normally have to pay. I don't normally pay, but this is an opportunity to get your questions answered. Look, we got a question coming from June here, and she says, I don't know if you can answer this, Fitz. She says, when I exercise, I strain my tum. It affects my back. Why is that?
I'd need to know what equipment she's using, and if she's a person that uses those long bars, the long bar Olympic bars, what they use in, oh God, I don't even want to mention the word, in those strength classes that they do in gyms where they use the long bar, weights on either side. Okay, a lot of those types of things will give you stress on your lower back because they're keeping your body in a fixed position. So what I would say to her is, try exercising with just using dumbbells. Try and get more or less the same equal load, but use a dumbbell, because the one thing about dumbbell, if you pick it up, it won't lock you in a position. It will put itself in its own survival position. So it would stop. I'd be pretty sure that, the aches and pains that she's getting, she wouldn't get them with a dumbbell.
Fitz, I'm going to ask you here. I think we're going to have the last question here, and then I'm going to come at you, and I'm going to ask you to end with some free, quick fire tips from the people watching. And we've had a question from Lloyd here, and he says, as we approach 60, what's the best things we can do? Obviously, he's asking with regard to our health and fitness, Fitz.
I'm going to say to all of you, and especially as we're getting older, forget doing endurance running. Forget it. It makes no sense at all. Your strength is your key to your success. The things that you do in life require strength. When he gets up in the morning, he's going to use his strength to get out of that bed. When he goes to work, if he's got grandchildren, the only thing that his grandchildren he's going to need for his grandchildren is not the stamina, it's the strength. Because the stronger you are, the less energy you use, the more energy you have to do something else. So my advice to you, Lloyd, is to get into doing more strength training. And I'm begging you, especially as we get older, I ain't got no, dumbbells. I ain't got no contract with anybody where I'm making any money from using dumbbells. Like he sounds like he must have some deal with a dumbbell company. I've got no deal with no dumbbell company. I've got no deals with anybody. It's called love and caring. And I'm going to say to you all, dumbbells are the way forward to our physical success, due to the fact we get the load, we get logical movements, we use our logical pathway. Biomechanically, we do everything correct. And if you do it incorrect, the likelihood is you still will not injure yourself, because your body will go into its survival mode and correct itself or balance itself. That's the joy of using dumbbells. So especially as we all getting older, leading up to our 60s, get stronger.
So it's only because of the time. I really want to respect people's time, and I know we normally say the show's an hour. You're giving some such valuable information. I know some people might have their rice and peas to put on, or whatever they do on a Sunday. All right. So just at this moment in time, before we close up, I just want you to give us 3 quick fire tips, just in summary. You may even repeat some of the things you've said already. That's absolutely fine. Just in summary, just give us 3 things to take away from this talk here and this podcast, please.
Right. Number one of the things I'm going to talk about, guys, live on your instincts. Your instincts will tell you more than anything else whether something's right or wrong. Do not turn away from your natural instincts. I'm quite certain there's a few of you on here that have had food poisoning, and then the next day you go, you know what? I knew I shouldn't have eaten that, because at the end of the day you ate something, it didn't really taste right, but you thought, maybe it's for me, and you go and eat it, and then the next day you feel sick, and you go, damn, I knew I shouldn't have eaten it. Your instincts told you what to do, and it's the same thing with eating. Your instincts will tell you when you're full. Right? I'm not going to say all of us, 100%. Some of us have got elements that will change those dynamics. Okay. But I'm going to say to you now, is when you're thirsty, you drink. When you're hungry, you eat. When you're full, you stop. Stop. You don't need to try and say that I paid for it. So if I paid for it, I'm going to eat it. No, leave it. Because all you're going to do, you could have put it in the waste bin, but no, you're going to carry it around as waste. Think, which one do you want to do? Next thing is, especially as we get older, none of us needs endurance. We don't need endurance running. We don't need to do masses and masses of endurance. You do endurance if you enjoy it. And I'm going to say not to do it in the sense of not to do it. If you enjoy going out for a jog because it makes you feel good, and if you say, you know what, I love being out there cycling for miles and miles because it makes me feel good, please do it. But have the strength and the purpose to do it. Don't just keep doing it, and don't have no foundation to work with. And the key to all of those successes is build strength. Because building strength not only protects your joints, because you've got to remember, muscles protect joints. You can't strengthen a joint. You can't strengthen your knee. You can't strengthen your shoulder. You can't strengthen your elbow. The muscles that surround it support it. So those are the muscles you need to make stronger. As you make muscles stronger, the joy of building muscle. I'm burning calories when I'm sitting down doing nothing. What an investment. Oh, when I build muscle, I have the strength to do as I need to. I don't need anybody else to be looking after me. Understand this. Yes, I'm going to be 64 in a few months' time. I'm not old. I'm never going to be old. I am going to be a man of age, because when you become old is when you lose the ability to look after oneself. You need somebody to support you. You need the external force. I don't want an external force, i.e. the walking stick. I need to keep the internal force within me, so I don't need the external force to assist me. A walking stick is an external muscle. It's a support. But wouldn't it make sense that I have the support within me so I can do? It's that simple, for want of a word. And the great thing about muscle, for me, muscle is medicine. Work on your strength. Strength is the key to all our physical needs and success. Kenny.
Yeah, I'm here. Don't worry, man. You're good. I was just letting you do that. Fitz, listen, to say this has been educational would be an understatement. The comments in the feed have been wonderful. You've got some fans who you've worked with, but I know definitely that you've got some new fans. Look, if people wanted to reach out to you, Fitz, how can they do that? Tell me, how can people reach out to you?
I'm going to tell you this now, and it's very hard. People don't understand that. I've got an Instagram page, Fitz Lifestyle Trading. Do I use it often? Not really. I have a Facebook page, Fitz Gaynes, and I do kind of free feeds. I just come on and do bits and pieces on our chat. And it's Fitz Gaynes, Gaynes spelled Gaynes. Fitz Lifestyle Training, that is on my Instagram page. I don't do Twitters. I don't do any of the other formats that are out there at all. I just want to get through to people anyhow I can do. So if you want to, just please hook me up on Facebook. This year, if it happens, I'm running a fitness holiday in Turkey, a place called Club Ali Bay. It's in May the 10th to the 14th. If you want to, check me out and inbox me on my Facebook page, and I can give you as much information as you can. It's a lifestyle week. It's what we call the Fitz LST week. LST stands for lifestyle training. The system that I use is called BASE, BASE, which stands for Basic All-Round Strength Effect. And you know the word, it was in there, strength effect. And my training is geared towards life. It's geared towards life. That's why I call it physical therapy, not fitness. I deal with physical therapy, not fitness. Fitness is just a very loose word that we use. And then you've got to understand, when someone says, are you fit? The question in hand is, for what purpose? Are you fit for a purpose? What is your purpose for being fit? Is Usain Bolt fit? Yes, he is. Is Mo Farah fit? Yes, they are. But they're completely two different fitness games that they've got played. Is a boxer as fit as a footballer? Two different kinds of fitness. I'll guarantee you, most boxers couldn't play 2 45-minute matches, but then 2 45-minute halves. But then you take a footballer and put him in a boxing ring to box 12 3-minute rounds, he'd absolutely suffer. Two different types of fitness. Make sure that you're fit for your purpose. I am fit, and I'd love you all to be fit for life.
I mean, I think that's some wonderful information to end there, Fitz. I really want to say thank you very, very much for taking.
Thank you, Kenny, for having me on.
The time out. I mean, the audio has been wonderful. There's been a slight little delay, but next week we're going to work that delay out. I'm going to remind people in a moment. Fitz, thank you very, very much. You have been so informative. We've had lots of positive comments in, and I have to say, when I started this podcast, you was in my radar of one of the people. So, and you were so gracious when I reached out to you. It was no problem, and it's lovely. So Fitz, on behalf of everybody who's watched today, thank you very much. I'm just going to close up the show. Don't go anywhere, Fitz. I'm just going to lock you up in a minute there.
Okay.
And I'll come see in a minute. Yeah. So that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, that's a show. I mean, absolutely fantastic value. I mean, and that's what I want to do during these Make Healthier Habits shows. Now, look, for those of you who know, the program is sponsored by the L.E.A.N MindBody Method, and I'm pleased to know I've kind of rearranged all what I do, and I'll be telling you about a little bit more about that next week. And the Sugar Smash will be here next week. If you want to reach out to me, you can contact me at ken@L.E.A.N MindBodyCoach.com. Look, if you're watching this on YouTube, just like this show. If you really liked it, just like it. Yeah, that would be great. And if you like what the show's about, just follow. Just like to follow and press the bell so you'll get the notification. And that would be great, because we will be back here every single Sunday. And if you watch this on YouTube, then, Facebook, then like this video and share this video. I mean, I think this information that was shared today needs to be shared. A lot of people saying fantastic information. Thank you, Fitz. Absolutely wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here. Well, I'll be back here with another special guest the same time next week. I'm so inspired. I'm now going to do 100 press-ups. Well, I was going to do 100 press-ups, but you know what? The reason why I'm not, this beard is carrying a little bit of extra weight, and I think the little bit of extra weight might pull me off. So that's why I'm not going to do it. All right? I'm going to work my way up. But really inspired by Fitz today. Listen, guys, it's absolutely wonderful. Listen, what I like to say to you is the best thing you could do is to make health your habit, and that's what this show's about. So listen, guys, you enjoy your Sunday. We will be back here the same time, 2 p.m. GMT on 9 a.m. EST, because we know we have some international listeners. Guys, you enjoy your Sunday, whatever you do, and I will be back with you next.
Thanks for listening to the Make Health Your Habit podcast live show. Remember, the views and opinions expressed during the show represent those of our guest and host alone. We hope